About 4 years ago, I wanted to teach people about trends. And one of the trends that were coming in the future was about gold. And what I said was that soon enough, everyone's going to be a gold bug, or everyone's going to be a gold pro, or everyone's going to know about gold. They're going to know all about precious metals. And the reason why is because I also said they were all going to know about inflation. Everyone's going to be a pro on inflation. Where when I said it, most people couldn't explain inflation other than it's when prices go up. But not a lot of people could actually explain how prices will go up. Well, now we have seen a couple stories just come out of the Wall Street Journal, and I want to go over them with you because they're very interesting. And the title for the first one is "Everyone is a Gold Bug Now." And this 4-year-old prediction that I made, and it wasn't because I was smarter than anyone. It was just because this is what happens through normal economic cycles, is happening now. And I want to ask you, if you don't own gold, type no gold down below. Or if you don't own any silver, type no silver. And the reason why I want you to say that is, out loud is because I want you to start thinking differently. Before I start reading this uh, story, I want you to realize that gold is just a tool. Money is just a tool. Type one if you agree with that. Um, the difference between poor people, middle class, and rich when it comes to money are vastly different. And I'm just going to run down it real quick. Poor people view money as a way to pay bills. I need money to pay the bills. I've got an electric bill. I got to go get money. All right. So they go work for it. The middle class, they view money as a way to borrow against it or leverage it to buy things that they can't afford because they're impatient. Okay. That's where your middle class lies. Most middle class people are dirt broke, meaning they are worth less than they owe. Okay. So that's a big difference. Then lastly, the wealthy people, rich people, they view money as a way of taking that money to make more money. Okay. So they invest that money in businesses, in stocks, bonds, crypto, gold, silver, whatever, and they hold on to it and let it grow. Okay. That's the big difference. Gold, I do not believe, is going to make you uber rich. All right. But what I do believe is it does two things. It has an amazing frequency of wealth that comes off of it, that resonates off of it. And that has to do with the law of attraction. So you need to understand that, learn that. And then number two, what it does is it's a way of parking money value in times where you know it's going to increase in value, like it is right now. It's over $3,100. Everyone's talking about it, right? However, they're not talking about silver. I like silver more than gold. There's more opportunity in silver than gold. There's more uses for silver than gold. I could go on and on about that, but because people they it's all-time high, all-time high, all-time, that's all they think about when silver is actually outperforming gold on a percentage basis. All right, at least since the day that I started this channel 4 years ago. Go back and check the charts. It says right here, this is out of the Wall Street Journal. Andrew Gerner recently took all of his money out of crypto and bought 16.5 ounces worth of gold bars. The 38-year-old radio and television consultant was skeptical about whether the crypto or stock market would gain under President Trump. Plus, the thought of physical investments comforted him. He said, "What I decide to do with it in the future, whether I sell it and get back into the market or keep it for children in the future, I don't know," said Gerer, who lives in Ontario and keeps the bars in a safe at a bank. "But I have something, and I think that's kind of cool." Now, I completely agree with him. There's something about you should have your money spread out in all types of investments. That's well diversification. That's being wise with your money. Um, there are people like myself that I was in wrong thinking back in 2014, and I was piling all of my money into silver. All right. Every dime I had. Sure, I had a little bit of stocks, but man, every dime I got, I was getting into it because I was learning about it, learning how manipulated it was, learning about all the use cases. I was super excited. Guys, type two if that was you. At a certain point, you're like, I just need more, I need more. And at a certain point, I had to stop because as you learn about manipulation, you learn that these are big long-term cycles. So it's best to get into something else a little bit too. And that's when the crypto started in 2017. I spent $10,000, bought some cryptocurrencies. A year later, not only did I sell some and buy $40,000 worth of silver, I also had a portfolio worth $1 million. Okay, that's real, right? Whereas the silver did not go up. As a matter of fact, it might have went down that year. I don't remember. But because of good, proper diversification, I I had a lot of stuff, wealth growing all at the same time. Now, then that crypto cycle took a dump and crashed in what, late 2018, mid 2018, something like that. And the silver stayed steady. And what I learned from that, which is extremely powerful information for all of us, is that we have to be able to ebb and flow, to move. There are many times in my life where I'm like, I'm doing this is what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden something changed, something bad happened, or I could see something over the horizon. I went, I've got to pivot. And if you do not have that ability to pivot, you're going to fail. Now, another point I want to make about when it comes to gold, cryptos, and all these things, don't ever be all the way out. You cannot be all of the way out. Why? Because if you're wrong and that asset class takes off, you're going to lose. You're going to beat yourself up. And every minute spent beating yourself up in your mind, and to be honest with you, I go through this all the time. It's wasted memory space for when you could be producing and doing something. All right. All right. Now, I want to go to another story, and this is talking about how, Bitcoin people are gold bugs. People, it says right here, people that have never owned gold are now gold bugs, right? Everyone's freaking out and they're FOMOing in because of all-time highs. All right. I really, in my heart, and I see something coming in about 6 to 8 months. This is why I see a revolution in the silver market because of all the people that have tons of money in crypto that are about to take just a little bit and move into the silver market. This isn't the time yet. To be honest with you, anything under $40 silver, when Bitcoin is at much higher prices in the future, I think are going to be very exciting to transfer some Bitcoin into silver or some cryptos into silver. And I think that market's going to be completely rocked. I see that coming in the next 6 to 8 months. I could be wrong, but that's just me. All right, so check this out. This next story I want to go over with you. It's also about gold, and I think it's very, very telling. And this goes to the whole FOMO thing. This is out of the. Did I copy that twice? Let's stand by. I copied it twice. It's talking about, it was that Wall Street Journal thing, and the title of this one, they just changed the title. Gold prices are up 17% so far this year. Meet the investors turning to gold. Wow, Wall Street Journal took the same title or the same story and put two different titles to it. And now it says everyone's a gold bug now. Isn't that funny? Even, isn't it interesting how Hollywood can't come up with anything original? Have you guys seen this? Like, realize that humans right now, and this is a really exciting time to be an investor, humans are losing their creativity. We're going through this, it's like the Black Death or the plague that happened, but then after everybody died, it led to the Renaissance. Well, you got to think about the times where people are perishing all throughout history in mass amounts. People are depressed, people are sad, the creativity is not there, and then it leads to this time of creativity. I see us in this time right now where people are not as creative as they once were. As a matter of fact, things like AI, you could say, well, that's creative. But the thing is, things like AI technology is actually making people dumber and lazier, right? I mean, I see that in my own life personally. And when those times happen, the wealth in the world is always the exact same amount. There's always so much wealth because wealth is energy. That's all it is. And you have the ability to go and grab some, right? And at the beginning, it may feel stressful and tiring because you can only grab little bits when you don't have a lot of knowledge and understanding. And this goes to that parable of, if you took the money away from all the rich people and spread it all out evenly, a few years later, the rich will be the rich again because the rich have something that the poor people don't. They've got patience, they've got knowledge, and they've got abilities. Those three things put together are an incredibly powerful tool. But most people are poor or stuck in their middle class lifestyle in debt, have more debt than assets because they don't have patience. They do not have the skill to be able to put those together and go, hey, I'm gonna go out and conquer the world. And so it may seem stressful when you're grabbing this little at a time, but remember, I started with nothing. I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth. I was told no. I was rejected for my first home load. My wife's crying in an office because she's embarrassed because I drug her out saying we could afford a house, and the lady across the desk, total tool, is telling me I can't. And And I'm 30 days later, I had the house. I didn't accept the word no. That's another thing. A lot of people accept the word no. And you may be looking at yourself in the mirror right now, and I got to look at myself in the mirror all the time and decide, do I accept what people say about me, or do I run with what I know about me? Do I take the mantle that I know, the person, the man that I am, and run with it, or do I accept what other people tell me I am, right? And that's what every single one of us have to do. You know, when I had to restart twice. When I say restart, I saved up a bunch of money, did some side hustles, invested money, and lost it all in stocks. Twice I did that. Once for 60 grand and once for 100 grand. I was wiped out. Now, I wasn't wiped out in the fact that I lost my house or anything like that, because I had a savings account and I took care of my household, right? But I was trying to strike it rich. And I can tell you that both times were the most valuable learning lessons. Why? Because I simply didn't do the same thing twice. A fool does the same thing twice multiple times and expects different results. And one of the things that I could really encourage you to do today is just go out and buy 2 pieces of silver if you don't own any silver. That could be the most powerful thing that you've ever done, because I'm not kidding. It sounds so silly, but it's not silly. Take the silver, put 1 piece in your hand and take another one, pick it up and just drop it and drop it in there. And I want you to close your eyes. And I just want you to, this is so simple. It's so simple. Please hear me, because this can really change some people's financial future. I want you to sit there and drop that into, and just think about what money is, and consider that our founding fathers said that uh, money shall be in no other form than gold and silver. They wrote that into the Constitution. You think about that and you go, all right, there's something here. There's something here. And you want to start learning about that. You don't want to go all in like I did, right? You want to split up your investment money, a little bit into stocks, a little bit into cash, a little bit into crypto, a little bit into silver and gold. So perhaps bonds, right? Liquid bonds, if you wanted to do like 30-day bonds, something like that. My point being is that you equally split it up. Don't get greedy. The second you get greedy and you push too much into one basket, you're going to fail. But without gold and silver in every single person's hands, think about this. Who owns the gold? They always say it's the money of kings, right? Well, right now it's all sitting in these central banks. Why don't you hold a little bit? Because it just sits there, right? A lot of people go, look, gold's worthless. It just sits there. Why don't, but do you think that the central bank is poor? Do you think the central bank is worthless? Do you think people think the central bank is a joke? No, of course not, right? Nobody thinks that. So why don't you just start acting like a central bank? Why don't you save up and buy an ounce of gold and set it off to the side, and a handful of silver coins? And why don't you just become like a bank? Then you start working on having cash to where you can loan out like a bank, where you put in investments. You have investments like a bank. This is what will change your life. I've got a link down below to a company I trust that if you want some delivered, you can order it online and they deliver it to you. I've worked with them for years. They've been great. But find the cheapest prices. That's the most important thing. Do your due diligence with companies you work with, and go crush it. Every single person. There are a lot of people on this channel that started listening years ago and started getting out of debt, started buying assets, and now are wealthy. Some aren't where they want to be. Some are where they want to be. I get to hear from you all the time, and I love those stories. Keep them coming. But this is what you need to do: is become diversified, and don't follow the hype on gold because it's hitting its all-time high. It's great to have an ounce. Trust me. For every 1 ounce of gold I've got, let's say I've probably got 100 to 200 ounces of silver. All right, that's the truth. That percentage ratio. And I don't keep mine at my house. I can't do that anymore any longer. So mine's vaulted in different vaults around the country. But that's where I'm at, and I started by going to a pawn shop and buying my first 2 ounce hand poured silver ounce a bar. I have that actually as a memento. And I keep that at my house, right? It's a little memento. It's worth $50 or $60. Oh shoot, now it's worth $70. Silver keeps going up too. And then you're going to get to where I'm at, or you're going to way excel past me. That's the goal, right? My goal is to see you go way past my abilities, and that shouldn't be hard for many of you. All right, let's just be honest. I'm just a dude with a brohawk and a dream. That dream is seeing 1 million people become millionaires as this market's crashing down, and it is crashing down. Don't look at numbers. Don't look at all-time high in gold. Don't look at the Dow Jones numbers. Those numbers are going up because inflation's going up and people are getting poorer and they're not paying their bills anymore. That's why. All right. I hope you got something out of this. The Economic Ninja is out.